Today, I wanted to talk about adult life bullying. To me, this is not really talked about. Like, we hear about bullying when it comes to being a kid, but we really don't talk about adult bullying. And also how to set boundaries. So, I know a lot of people, like, in the workplace, they deal with a lot of bullying. So we don't talk about these things often, but they are I see a lot of people walk around and they are depressed. They have anxiety, chronic stress, PTSD, all because they're being bullied by someone at work. I see that happens a lot. But before we even get to work, let's talk about how family bully you. I feel like that's one of the biggest things that's really not talked about. In 2024, we all need to keep it like 100, and we need to talk about how family be your biggest downfall. Family be your biggest enemies. And as a child, I was quiet. I was extremely quiet. And for the most part, my childhood was like kind of blurry. I just remember little snippets up until I hit about kindergarten. And I remember going to kindergarten, and growing up, I was taken care of by my mom and dad as a child. They wasn't together. They were separated, but sometimes I would go, over my dad's house. And not that she made me feel any way, but he had 2 kids by her. And by my mom, it was me and my older sister. So me and my older sister would go over there. We would visit. And like I said, due to my dad, we had a really fun childhood. But it was things that I overheard my own father saying about me. When I would come from with my mother, I would come out, he would pick me up, and if he didn't like something I would wear, he would say it to his wife. I caught him a bunch of times whispering things about stuff I had on to his wife, and they giggled about it. They laughed about it. I swear to God, they laughed about what I had on. And at this time, I had to be around 10, if not. That was the most traumatic thing I experienced. Like, that was one of the most traumatic things I experienced. Like, it's your dad. Like, are we not here on earth? Are we in another time zone? It was my father talking shit about what I had on. Instead of taking me to a store to buy something, to put on something that he felt was more appropriate or whatever the case. And the thing is, I would have like a skirt on. I don't know if he felt like it was too short. He never would tell me personally about it. I just overheard him saying things about it. Like, why would her mother put that on her? And literally, him and his wife would laugh. So when we talk about adult bullying, I caught it from my family. Off jump, I caught it straight from my family. So we had episodes like that. And okay, that was from my dad. So we have my mom's side of the family and we have my dad's side of the family. Right now, I'm talking about my dad and his side of the family. So that was things I witnessed from my dad, on top of things that I seen him do to other people in the house. So, okay, on my dad's side, it was me and my older sister, and he had 2 kids by his wife, It was a girl and it was a boy. My dad he was abusive. He would beat on the boy so bad. Sometimes he would pee on himself. We would hear him just like crying profusely in the next room. We just hear him crying, and as he was whipping him, he would talk down to him. So that was other things that was traumatic towards me when it came to have his sister, adult, my dad's sister. She's a whole nother topic. Me and my sister would come around her. We would get around other family members, like cousins, aunts, and everything or whatever, talking about us. I heard my aunt talking about me a bunch of times as a kid. So much so, me and my sister, we would figure out ways we would tell our dad that we did not want to go to her house. My older sister heard my aunt saying something about her to someone over the phone, and she never went back over there again. And my sister had to be around, I want to say 18. And if she was 18, I had to be around 16. So my sister never went back over there. Another thing my aunt would do was she would smell and she would sniff our dirty clothes. And then she would go get on the phone and talk about it to other family members. So what I'm telling you guys is things that from my childhood, the adult abuse that I was enduring. But nobody really talk about family abuse, adult abuse. So as a child growing up, I got firsthand abused by my family first. Before I even got to school to even get to tell those stories, it was me being abused by my family. So, I remember one specific time, I got invited on my dad's side. This is still on my dad's side. I got invited to a party. It was at like a hall. For you guys that don't know, I was born and raised in New York City. So I got invited to a party. My aunt was supposed to be there. I hadn't seen her in a long time. And as much as she used to do to me, as much as she used to talk about me, I found ways to still love her. Like, genuinely, most kids now, I feel like the kids now will stay away. That's how the kids now do. I feel like if, like, things are going on and they don't like it, they try to stay away. Kids now are more, like, mentally, stronger to me. Versus in my generation, I'm a millennial. But in my generation, I feel like, we just dealt with. And that's just how like a lot of families was. Like, just if your uncle was doing something bad to you, if your brother was doing something bad to you, if it was beefing going on within your family, I felt like for the most part they would just sweep it up under the rug. So that's the mentality I started to have as a child, because why would I go and tell everyone that my dad is talking trash about me? And I'm only a kid. Who's going to believe you, right? So I just brushed a lot of things up under a rug. Plus, my heart wasn't towards, thinking in a negative light. I try to look at things in a more positive light as a child. So I got invited to a party, and my aunt was supposed to be there. Before this day came, it was something she had did prior, and it was pretty traumatic to me. When it came to something like talking about me, it started happening a lot, but I hadn't seen her in like a little while. So long story short, my dad came to pick me up, and when we got to the hall, because it was like inside of a hall, for some reason, my grandmother and my dad and everybody, they stayed outside, and my older sister stayed outside. I was forgiven, and I wanted to see my aunt, because I hadn't seen her in a long time. So I went looking for her inside the party. and I went in a party. It was like someone that was having like a baby shower, I want to say, and they was showing like the baby clothes, and it was a bunch of people. And I looked over, and oh, I see my aunt, and she was standing next to her husband. She was sitting, and he was standing behind her. So I went over there, just happy to see her. At this time, I had to be around in my teens, about 15. Long story short, I walked up to her and I tapped her. We were gonna give my aunt a name, Gloria. So I tapped her and I was like, "Oh, hey, Aunt Gloria." And you guys, I kid you not, you had to see the way she looked at me when I tapped on her shoulder. I tapped her, she looked, and then she looked like, so she's looking at me like, and as she's looking at me like that, I still bypassed it and I gave her a hug. And guys, you won't believe what she did when I gave her a hug. In front of everybody. When I say New York City, if anybody knows that's watching what New York City is like, everything is big. So when we're talking about a party now, in a club, it was like in a club. And it was like a baby shower in a club. It was a lot of people. And I tapped on her shoulder. She looked at me like, and when I ignored it, went and gave her a hug. And guys, when I went to give her a hug, she went like this, like, "Don't touch me. What are you touching me for?" And I stood back. I was in shock. I was in so much shock that my aunt would say something like that to me. That day changed my whole outlook on my aunt. That broke me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That day, like, that was hurtful. For your aunt to like she shook herself as if I was dirty, or if I was nasty or something. Like, she said, "Why are you touching me? Don't touch me." And her husband had the nerve to do? He had his hand out like this towards me, like telling me to back up. So let's get back into the story. I have dealt with adult abuse, adult bullying since a child, and it was done by my own family. My own family. So this is what I want to talk about today, and as far as adult bullying, when it comes to, I've had bullying on my mom's side, and I feel like that's enough examples to give you guys. I don't really want to, I'm just letting you know. I gave you examples to let you know that it's real. And as a child, I didn't have to wait till I got older. I'm letting you know dealt with that the only way to overcome it is by setting boundaries. You have to set boundaries within yourself. Now, we want to talk about this thing called self-love. If you love yourself, you're not going to let nobody hurt you. Right? You got to stop overly giving, because overly giving is a sin. Being too nice is a sin. Doing too much of anything is a sin, whether it's nice or, just genuinely being bad. But I'm saying, like, anything that you do good and you do it too much is a sin. It's not good. So in a workplace, you have bosses that bully people. You have the co-workers themselves. As far as for me, I'm the type that go to work and I don't talk to nobody. People literally think I am stuck up, or I have an attitude problem, when I honestly, I don't. I just don't do the work gossiping. I don't do that. I'm here to get a check and I'm here to leave. So you wouldn't think so, but people will bully you just because you're not following the crowd. Honestly, the things that I've been through in my childhood, like, okay, like I told you with my dad and his family, once I got to my school years, like kindergarten, I did get bullied in school. And I want to say after, once I got to high school, I didn't tolerate it no more. So it will take for you have to stand up for yourself. You're going to have somebody constantly talking down to you, making you feel like you're, and most of the time, like you're not anything, and most of the time it be you really are the prize, and someone else might see that and they make you feel like you're not worthy, right? Or we have relationship abuse. When you're in a relationship with a man, woman that has narcissistic attributes, a narcissistic personality, that constantly see you being the problem to everything in their life. Like I said, you have work bullying down to coworkers. That can range from anything. But I'm here to tell you today that bullying for me stopped when I got into high school. I was quiet in school. I did not talk. So when I say I was quiet from kindergarten, I was quiet all the way up until I left school. I stayed to myself. So I wasn't the girl that was picking on anyone. I was the quiet girl in the back of the room doing her work. And for some reason, I just gravitated that energy. And I had my ignore game. Like, I used to ignore everything. Somebody said something wrong to me, I ignored it. But the thing is, I would get home and mentally beat myself up for it. Like, oh, why didn't you say something? Why don't you stand up for yourself? Like, that inner voice would tear me to pieces. And I honestly was taking a hit on both ends, because I'm like, okay, now it's going back to you got to parent yourself, right? So that's what it seemed like. It seemed like I would get bullied at school and my mom wouldn't know nothing about it. I was quiet. I wouldn't tell her my days and how they went. I would take the bullying. I would take it and I would just go home and go about my day. But my inner voice, it was just like, we're not taking no shit. So the same way you deal with the elementary school and middle school bullies, sad to say, because we live in a world we have full-blown adults, but it's the same way that you have to deal with the adult bullies. And mind you, we're full-blown adults. So like I said, it's sad, but this is the same way. Having boundaries, you have to have boundaries. You have to put people in their place, because it's no way out of it. People see that you are a sweet person, a nice person. You're gonna let them say and do whatever you want, whatever they want to you. Guess what? You're gonna be having a hard time trying to stop it, because most people that's nice, they just naturally are nice, and they don't like problems and negativity and it's you against me, I'm trying to get you. They don't like all of that. We're just naturally sweet people. And it's either you're going to stand up for yourself or you're going to get walked on. Because most nice people, they find themselves to be given. They just give, give, give. And what the other person do? They're going to take, take, take. You have to set boundaries and say, okay, if I give you this, what am I getting in return? So sometimes you can give and not look for anything in return. I'm not saying that. But you got to know what to do that with. And when you have certain people that just there because it's benefiting them, and they're just there just to take from you, or you have those people that's there just because you are popular, they want to be around you, and we're not even going to talk about the energy vampires, people that come around you because you are a high spirit, you have high energy, and you are always happy, and you're always, got a smile on your face, just ready to take on the world and thinking in a positive light. And then you have people that be in the most pessimistic state of mind that will come around you just so they could dump. It's called energy dump. They could dump their negative energy onto you, and in return, they suck up your positive energy. Because guess what? If I'm being negative and I'll be like, oh, I got this going on, I can't figure this out, and you're like, oh, well, you can solve it like this, and you can go down to the XYZ and you can call them up and yeah, I could do that. Guess what? The whole time you don't know that they're sucking up your positive energy. So now when you two leave each other, they feel content because now they have solutions. And guess what? You wonder why you feel stressed out or agitated, is because they done dump their negativity onto you. Energy is real. People need to stay away from people that don't have their best interests at heart. If you're not reciprocating, I do not want to be around you. Because guess what? I go by actions. It's not about what you're talking about. It's about what you're doing. You say one thing, but the actions don't correlate with it, we have a problem. If you say, I'm gonna take you out to dinner, and then that day come and I call you and you give me an excuse, oh, I can't do it. Okay, it might be a situation where you can't do it. But now Monday done passed, Tuesday done passed, Wednesday done passed. Each of these days, you are promising me something and you're not doing it. But guess what? A random day when I say, oh, can you come out with me? It's on me. I'll treat. I just want to go grab something to eat. And guess what? Your schedule clears out. All of a sudden, now you're free to hang out because I'm footing the bill. We have a problem. People need to start looking and realizing when a lot of people are fake. Just because I meet you and I have a good conversation, we can have a good conversation. And we can have similarities. That don't mean I like you, and that don't mean you like me. That don't mean I'm for you, and that don't mean you're for me. You know that saying, like when you're going through something, you see that it's nobody around when you're going through hard times. That will let you know who your true friends are. When you are down and out and in a bad situation, and you call them same people that go with you to every concert, every outing, every book signing, every restaurant, and then all of a sudden when you hit this pitfall and you're in a bad situation and you turn around and you call them and you're like, yeah, hey, I'm going through XYZ, this, that, and the third. Oh, okay. So they'll listen to what you got going on, but and then that'll be just about it. So where was this energy for the concerts in the restaurant? Why ain't you coming to see what's going on with me while I'm... But guess what? This is where the psychological part coming in at. You also have people that are miserable that will come around you when you're down and out just so they can feel good about what they got going on. So you got to be careful with who you are around. Me, I happen to be a loner. And I'm not saying being alone is always good, but being alone is always good. Because at the end of the day, it seems like everybody is out for survival of the fittest. Is out for self. That's what it seems like. I learned how to be in my own skin and have fun with myself. You want to go out on a date, Latiqua? You take yourself out on a date. You get your hair done. You put your makeup on. Put on the cutest outfit. And you go out on a date and you show yourself a good time. You and when it comes to building yourself up, you gotta be your everything. You want a soulmate. You want a man that is buff and 6'5", and he got waves and he got brown eyes and he talk in Spanish. Become that. Become that. A lot of people, it be a lot of people lacking low self-esteem, and they be insecure, that be vultures to people that are narcissists and that feed off of people and get them to do the things that they want them to do and say the things because they see that the person is down and out. So the things that you are, your weaknesses, you have these people that I'm talking about, adult bullies, that come around and they see that you are going through certain things and they play on it. And guess what? Your bullies nowadays are not they don't, a lot of them don't come off mean like how when I was growing up. A lot of them start off nice. They start off your closest friends. Y'all not seeing these videos out here where the girls is going out to Cancun and Turks and Caicos, and they find out their best friend having them set up, and they're getting killed because they thought someone was their friend and found out she really didn't like you. Nowadays, the devil is the people that you hold closest to you. They're the ones that show up to go to the outings, that act like they want to be your bridesmaid, that play like they are, when you have a breakup, like they come over and, you know, tell you, oh, let's go out to the club and you got to shake it off, and give you the little words of encouragement. And they supposedly be the ones there when, you know, you're feeling down, and, you know, every so often you call her to come, you know, be there and sit there with you while you're going through your depression. Or it be those that in disguise, wolf in sheep's clothing, that really don't like you. So y'all have to really pay attention out here. Y'all really have to pay attention. I'd rather be alone than to be going through bullshit like that. We're not even going to get into your friend sleeping with your man, and you know what I'm saying, and we're just staying on surface adult bullying, because these topics could go range from deep, but they all in the same spectrum of adult bullying. And just to, you know, bring it down to basics, because, you know, I'm about to end this video, this segment. people, we have to start learning to love ourselves, because to me, it all starts within. The insecurities that you're lacking, the hate that you have for yourself, you have people walking around here ready to play on that. Oh, I'm insecure. I'm insecure because I grew up and I didn't have XYZ. You get what I'm saying? And now I see somebody that has something, and I'm motivated by that. I want to be their friend. Guess what? Life will play out in certain ways where you would think certain people is your friend. You get what I'm saying? And it don't be that situation. We have to start going within and taking care of ourselves. Start working on your traumas. Start. You are the prize. You have to protect you. So if you come around people that you feel like you know it, because you question it in your mind. Like, somebody might say something smart, and you might, you'll laugh about it, but in your mind, you be like, yeah, I know that was a smart comment. Take that for what it is. It's called red flags. Take that for what it is and start holding people accountable. And start trusting yourself. Like, that person ain't good for me. So I'm going to move around. I'm going to leave her alone. She done said 2 things. I gave her 3 chances, and there was 3 red flags, and she not it. She not it for me. And trust yourself and move on. It's okay. So many people miss those red flag signs. We have to start setting boundaries with people. Just because you like to conversate with me, that's cool. Doesn't mean I have to conversate with you. When people do stuff you don't like, go the opposite way. Move around. If I work with you and you're toxic, guess what? I'll work in your vicinity of where you work at, but I will not talk to you. That really don't like you. When y'all leave this job, none of y'all is going to be in contact with each other. Stop being fake just for the hell of it. When people do wrong, call them out on it. That's what make them run too. When you call them out on their bullshit, they stay away from you. Because when you are a truth seeker, and when you are a truth teller, people pick up that energy. I'm a loner, and I be at a peace I can't describe, because I am a blunt person. So if you're doing something that I don't like, I'll assess it first. I'll be like, because I don't like to assume. So if you're doing something wrong to me, and okay, the first time I noticed it, I pick up on it. The second time, I listen to my intuition. So the second time is the charm. They say third time is the charm. No, it's the second time for me. Hey, people y'all know y'all don't like, and you know that don't like you. We'll talk about this topic the next time. So we can get these videos out there. We can talk about more topics, because it's people that really need to hear this stuff, especially our younger people. So yeah, peace.